Hello and welcome to the Authentic Freedom Virtual Church and to part 2 of our Easter 2014 celebration. My name is Lori Lumby and I am the pastor and spiritual director of this online virtual community. Part 2 of this service is providing you with an opportunity to enter into a meditation experience that will give you an opportunity to be open to your own personal encounter with the risen Christ. As I mentioned in part 1 in the reflection on this week's gospel, I mentioned that it is one thing to read the story of the resurrection and to take it on faith that it is true and that it actually happened. It is another thing altogether to have a direct and personal encounter with the risen Christ. It is my hope that this meditation will give you that experience. So what I invite you to do to really allow yourself to enter fully into this meditation is to set time aside, I would say half an hour to 45 minutes, so that you can really allow yourself to immerse in the experience. This meditation will be facilitated through a combination of instruction, music, and silence. And so what I invite you to do is if you have a journal or notebook, to have that handy, to set up a sacred space for yourself, maybe light a candle, turn off your phone, your cell phone, the TV. Make sure that you won't be interrupted. In the beginning part of the meditation, I will guide you through music. And the chant that I am going to be sharing with you today is taken from Song of Songs, which is in the Hebrew scripture, and it is a love poem between God and God's people and God. And it is an erotic poem in the sense that it describes the intimate relationship that God desires to have with us. And I chose this song specifically because of Mary Magdalene's relationship with Christ. Mary considered Jesus to be her beloved. She found in Jesus a companion, a friend, a teacher, a guide, and a healer. And they had and shared an intimate kind of relationship that allowed Mary to be open to receiving the fullness of Jesus' teachings. Mary was the first witness to the resurrection, and she was the first to witness and believe because she had been prepared. She had entered fully into her relationship with Jesus, and she had come to understand his highest level of teachings that some of his disciples were not able to grasp. And we learn and understand this through the Gospel of Mary, which came to us out of a discovery in Egypt. So we know that Mary had the kind of relationship with Jesus where she considered him to be her beloved. She knew Jesus in her heart because she had been open. And so I use this chant as a way to call in the Christ, to call the Christ into our own personal and lived experience. And so I invite you to simply listen to the sound of the words, the melody, and the drumming, and to allow that to carry you. So perhaps you want to begin the meditation by imagining that you are at the tomb, that you are outside the tomb, waiting for a personal encounter with Christ. Perhaps you are like Mary, waiting in the garden and being present to your own grief, your own loss, your own fear or frustration, the places within yourself that are in need of Christ's healing, Christ's love. Perhaps you begin the meditation by placing yourself outside the tomb, imagining that you are there waiting for Christ. And allow the song and the words and the drumming to call Christ into your presence. And allow yourself to be open. Allow yourself to enter deeply into higher levels of consciousness where you can be open to an experience with the risen Christ. And allow yourself to suspend for a moment your disbelief. Allow yourself to believe that Jesus is presenting himself personally and intimately to you. And allow yourself to simply be open. You may experience images, emotions arising. You may hear words or smells. You might have a very vivid experience of being at the tomb and being in the presence of Christ. And allow Christ to reveal himself to you in the way that you need him to be revealed. And be open. Perhaps he has a message for you. Perhaps he has words of guidance, words of comfort, words of nourishment. Allow yourself to simply be open. At the end of the music, I invite you to simply be in silence and allow the meditation to continue to unfold in your mind as it needs to give yourself time for it to come to a natural conclusion. And when the meditation comes to its own conclusion, to bring yourself back to this world, to this space, and to take time to write down what you experienced, write down what you saw, write down what you felt. And then in your own way, offer a prayer of thanks to God. Thanks for whatever nourishment and support might have come to you through that meditation. And so I invite you to pause this video and set up your sacred space. Have anything nearby that you might want to record the experience. And then when you are ready, press start again and allow yourself to surrender to the meditation. And again, if you find this to be meaningful and supportive of your journey, I invite you to support Authentic Freedom Ministries through a financial donation. Thank you. So as we begin this meditation, I invite you first to close your eyes, to make sure that your body is in a comfortable position, sitting or lying down. And I invite you to begin by drawing your awareness to your breath, to become aware of your breathing as you draw it in and give it release. Remembering that the breath that breathes through you is the very breath of God. Allowing God's breath to fill you, and as you release it, to cleanse you. Allowing God's breath to fill you with love, and as you release it, healing you of your fear. Allow yourself to be mindful of that breath as it begins to bring you into a relaxed and peaceful state. And with your eyes closed, I invite you, in your mind's eye, to place yourself outside the tomb. To place yourself outside the tomb where Jesus' crucified body had been laid. To place yourself in the space that Mary Magdalene held. That space of sorrow, that space of grief, that space of awareness of our human vulnerability. Allow yourself to imagine that you are Mary, sitting at the tomb. And as I share with you this music, this singing, this drumming, I invite you to enter deeply into that experience and, like Mary, allow yourself to be open to a personal encounter with the resurrected Christ. Through the music and the sound, we are calling in the Christ, calling him in to our personal experience so that we may know him and that we may be open to receiving what he wishes for us to receive at this place in our journey. And knowing that that will be unique for each and every one of us. And so we begin with the sacred hymn from Song of Songs, I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. And we allow that to bring us into an experience, a personal encounter with the risen Christ. Dodi levani lo, haloe bashoshanim. Dodi levani lo, haloe bashoshanim. Dodi levani lo, haloe bashoshanim. Dodi levani lo, Adoe Bashoshanim, Dodi Levani lo, Adoe Bashoshanim, Dodi Levani lo, Adoe Bashoshanim, Dodi Levani lo, Adoe Bashoshanim. 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 Dodi levani Shoshanim, Dodi Livani Lo, Hadoe Shoshanim, Dodi Livani Lo, Hadoe Shoshanim, Dodi Livani Lo, Hadoe Shoshanim. And I invite you now to rest in that silence, allowing your own personal encounter with the risen Christ to unfold in the way that you need it at this place in your journey. And when you feel that the vision has unfolded and come to its own conclusion, I invite you to bring yourself back to this world, to this space, and to offer thanks and praise for what you have received.